Okay, how's everyone this afternoon? How are you feeling? How's the energy? Okay, great. Well, I'm super thrilled and honored to be sharing the stage with such inspirational speakers. This is my second Unreal Fest, and it's been really a blast. So before we start, I just want to say thank you, Epic, for putting these events together. It's always great to have. For all of those of you that don't know me, I'm Jose Uribe. I'm the Chief Creative Officer and founder of Pureblink. And today, I'm going to be talking about disrupting traditional real estate sales and marketing strategies using Unreal Engine and Sketchfab. So let's get started. But before we dive into the main topic, again, I'm not sure how much you know about Pureblink, but in case you don't know that much, who is Pureblink? Who are these guys? What is it that they do? Well, we are a creative digital agency specialized in real estate marketing and visualization. For the past 20 years, we've been working hand in hand with our clients through various cycles and stages of the pre-sales side of real estate marketing. Our services go from creative, visualization, production, and all the way to design and development of sales tools. We're an Unreal service partner. Yay! And here's a sneak peek of what we've done in the past using Unreal Engine and Sketchfab.
Temperature rising up, you cannot get enough. Electric in your bones, nuclear undertones, feel like a rolling stone. You're gonna like how you feel. You're gonna like how you feel. Can you believe this is real?
Okay, disrupting, that's a big word. But that's a word that has been associated with the work that Unreal Engine has been doing across all the different industries. And it's been in disrupting from the gaming industry to the film industry, and the real estate is not the exception. Today, I want to share with you our journey for the past 4 or 5 years using and how we've been using Unreal and how it's been a game changer from creating multiple assets that change the way that marketing can be implemented into how these different sales tools can be really game changers on the sales side of real estate. Now, one of the greatest benefits that we loved from the very beginning of Unreal is that you can create all these different multiple assets. We've been using Unreal Engine since 2015, mainly for our interactive applications. Then in 2017, we started using it for video with a lot of post-production here and there in order to enhance all the refractions and the reflections that were not properly created, that were not properly done. But it wasn't until 427 that we truly started implementing Unreal into our films, into our videos, and then with Unreal 5, we're starting to implement them as well as still renderings using path tracing and some post-production process. So right now we're using it all throughout all the different deliverables that we create for our clients. Now, on top of Unreal, we've been creating our own framework in order to expedite the process and to really be very efficient in order to be able to switch and to use a master model for all these different assets. I decided, instead of having like showing you multiple projects with different levels of or different types of renderings and different types of videos, I decided to concentrate everything mostly on this project. This is Strata. Is a 25-story high-rise building located in Uptown Waterloo. A beautiful building. We happen to do all the branding, marketing, renderings, all the visualization, the video, and we worked hand in hand with the sales team. So it was the perfect opportunity to try out some new techniques using Unreal Engine, and yeah. So I'm not going to have the time to go through absolutely everything that we created for Strata, but if you're curious, you're totally welcome to go into the website stratawaterloo.ca, where you'll find a lot of great material that we created using mostly Unreal Engine. So these are the renderings that we've created, of course, with some Photoshop photo editing, with drone photography, and there were 4 main themes that we wanted to really enhance. And those 4 key important aspects were its iconic design, the connection to nature. The project has a beautiful rooftop area that is almost like a little private forest that we really wanted to enhance and to really showcase through lifestyle. The expanded living balconies, as you can see, one of the most iconic architectural gestures are the melodic balconies that are on the front and the back of the facade. These balconies have sheer walls or privacy screens on the sides, so they're completely private. And this was the part that in sales, they were like, I don't know how the market is going to react to this type of balconies. I mean, we live in Canada. So typically people see this as wasted space, but at the same time, this is really a great opportunity for at least 9 months. So that's part of, in terms of the marketing approach and the strategies, we were really trying to showcase exactly were all the different lifestyle opportunities that were connected to the balconies. And then really a thoughtful design, the fact that these particular units have custom millwork that extends from the cabinetry from the kitchen all the way to adding extra storage space and extra work from home space. So those were the main themes that we wanted to highlight throughout all the different campaign. Like we started with the visuals, and for the lifestyle videos, we really wanted these spaces to come to life. I mean, it's very different when you see in a floor plan that you have a balcony. Oh, cool, okay, I can just go outside to have a coffee, and that's it. But these were pretty large balconies. Like you could have almost a party of 10 or 12 there. Like we measured that. I was like, okay, like there are so many things that you can do there. So we really wanted to enhance the storytelling on that side, and also throughout all the different amenity spaces. And this is typically what we do is really bring that architectural, all these architectural ideas to the day-to-day life and how that can really enhance the lifestyle of a person living there. So all these videos were shot thinking or through the lens of the Strata residents. And what I'm going to show is just a segment of the main video. The main video is actually pretty long, and I have a long list of great stuff here to share with you. So here it is.
This is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When it comes to groove, we're cooking up a feast. We get up early, we stay up late. Put in the work, but don't delay. We do this every day. Yeah, we do this every day. Yeah, there ain't no other way. So let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, traditionally or previously, I mean, when you think about marketing a real estate project 10 years ago, 15 years ago, just a few set of visuals were enough to promote the real estate project. Those visuals will be repetitive all throughout the different advertisements. But given the different cycles of sales and the vast number of touch points and social media networks, marketing teams are typically requiring more material to keep their target audience engaged. And this is one of the points where Unreal Engine really makes a mark, because once you have a 3D model established with the right environment, right lighting, and so on, it's like having multiple cinematics of a different place is completely streamlined and is faster to produce than an offline method. In addition, there are always changes, and the sales team always needs to pivot according to the market, and no one really knows what the market will dictate. When the design of the building was done, there was certain statistics on what the market on the target audience and the type of units that would be attractive to the market. But the sales team did a soft launch using Zentro Light, and you'll know what Zentro Light is in just a second. And they realized that they gave us older feedback, and they realized that there were some great opportunities with the upper units, because they had only 1 bedroom and small 2-bedroom apartments, but people were really interested in looking for more spacious units, like 3-bedroom units with better social areas and so on. So there was an architectural change. We changed we changed some of the floor plans on the upper floors, and we created a new collection. And that meant also a new campaign in order to create awareness of this new collection. The target audience is a different target audience than the general target audience that we started with. We started with a younger crowd, young professionals from late 20s to mid 30s. But for this type of units, we were looking more for empty nesters, mid-40s, mid-50s that were already living in the area. The tone and pace needed to change, and we had a short time frame, and we had already shot all our talent in our studio. So this is what we did. Okay, so as you can see, we had a lot of lifestyle talent. Like typically, if you were to do that on a typical offline rendering, that would have taken twice or at least 3 times the time and the budget that we had. So this was only possible because we have our own kind of green screen studio in our office in Toronto, and this green screen studio is connecting Unreal Engine with asymmetry, with anti-latency, so that allows us to have this level of control with the video production. And we do a little green screen / virtual production where the day off, when we shoot our talent, we are able to see exactly how the frames are going to be. Our creative team can see exactly if it needs to be enhanced with a little bit of more post-production or not. And the talent can also see exactly what the situation is going to be. So this was extremely useful, and we had a lot of material created out of that. Given the fact that we had all these different spaces inside even asymmetry, we decided to invite the sales teams as well. Typically, brokers and all the VIP brokers create their own videos promoting the projects. They have different branding styles. Sometimes they're off in terms of the key features, and we really wanted to have a consistent message all across the board. So we invited the sales team and a group of 25 VIP brokers to talk about Strata, talk about the key features that Strata has, but within Strata, being immersed by Strata. And these are just a couple of clips of different situations where they are talking about the interior features and finishes, or the rooftop terrace, or the expansive balconies, and so on. So at the end, we had 25 5-minute videos created. Each one of the videos was also split into 5 1-minute videos. So at the end of the day, we produced close to 125 minutes of animation, plus the 3 minutes of the hero film. All of it almost within the same amount of time. And just thanks to the fact that we had already had our 3D model translated from Unreal to Oximetry. Now, of course, every time that I say master model, it doesn't really mean that we have one main model and we click a button and then boom, all of a sudden we have renderings or videos or 360 web tours. No, there's like different passes that we do in order to make sure that we have the right models with the right type of performance. And that's why each one of these experiences have different requirements and different benchmarks in terms of performance. Now, our team has been creating, there's a little bit of manual work still, but our team has been creating different scripts and blueprints that really allow to streamline the entire process in order to make this as efficient as possible. And if any one of you or of your studios or you want to really start to streamline the entire process, these are like 5 key recommendations that I always give. Be extremely organized. And when I say be extremely organized, it's not only having a consistent naming protocol on files or folders or levels, but even the outliners or all the different main assets. If you have that level of consistency, then your development team will be super happy because there's a way to create the right type of code because everything is named accordingly. In terms of the 3 models, we always try to model in quads, always avoiding collapsing modifiers, and for each service we have particular benchmarks. Of course, if we start with a service that is for VR, that is one of the most extreme, where we need to hit at least 90 frames per second, and we optimize for that, then creating all the other services is not as difficult. It's easier and it's streamlined. So it'll be different if we start from only creating renderings that right now we're producing them using path tracing, and then we want to do a VR scene. So that's that. In terms of the library, it's very important to keep it organized, connected. All the lighting that we use is physical-based lighting. We have a great library of IES. All the textures are PBR. Of course, all of them work on power of 2 under 4K. With different levels of detail, and we're trying to use more and more procedural materials. In terms of the code, this is really what each one of your teams do. Like we've been working consistently in order to streamline the process to go from one service to the other. So we have codes that are from internal, from the blueprints to C++, plus some Python scripting. Again, we had a lot of problem at the beginning because our files were not organized. And source control, if you're working with multiple teams around the globe, it's extremely important to have a source control in place. Before we used to work with Paraforce, now we're with plastic. But it's always great because all the projects are always on the cloud. You have the ability to return to previous projects, ability to create new branches, and it always avoids any kind of overwriting or duplicating files. Now, so far we've seen how we've been using Unreal in order to streamline the process of creating a good number of marketing materials or marketing assets. Like when we started using Unreal again, we saw that it was really a game changer, especially on the video aspect, creating and producing all these different videos with inserting lifestyle that was like completely game changer, and it gave even more material for the different teams doing all the social media marketing. Now, we arrived at the experience centers and how the story can be curated to our audience. In the past, experience centers or sales centers have been the central place where the sales are curated, the sales pitch is curated. through different spaces, through a model home, a set of sales tools that allow the agent to curate and drive the experience. But this has changed, or at least it has the opportunity to change. So to give you some background on what the type of presentation tools that we were working on 5 years ago, this was more or less the type of displays that we were kind of working on, like a presentation system that consisted of an iPad application connected to a video wall and connected to a scale model, where you can really curate the experience and feature different parts of the components of the project, from location, architecture, amenities, all the way down to searching for the right floor plan. And this is the tricky part. Typically in these thin towers, there's only 6 floor plans that repeat across the 50, 60, 70 stories. So in the past, like 10 years ago, finding that particular unit used to be very problematic. This used to solve the problem, and we had like close to 4 or 5 different frameworks for presentation centers. This is a different type of framework. This was used mostly for master plans based in Unreal, and then this essentially allows the user to navigate around the master plan, really understand the composition of the master plan. Usually this is great because the master plans or the sales centers are located in an area where it still has not changed. So think about these master plans that are going to happen in the span of 15 years, but you're there to buy phase 1, and what you see is that that area is a directly land or is an industrial area, and you cannot really understand or visualize, or the user cannot really visualize what is going to happen. So these have been or were great tools to do that. Now, we were in this process of developing more and more tools for sales centers until this happened. Boom, the entire world collapsed, like everything was completely on pause, and then suddenly we were confined to our homes to work from home. And little by little, we started to understand that the connection to the exterior was our phone and our credit card. And it was a dangerous combination because just by doing this, you could get anything that you wanted from here. And this was what started disrupting many different industries, and the real estate industry is not different to the rest. I mean, the real estate industry, especially in North America and in Canada, has been very conservative. We've had ideas of bringing this type of tools online, like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. We started conversations with a couple of clients, but the answer was always no. We really want everyone to go to a sales center because that's where sales happen. Now, every single call that we received from our clients was, how can we bring all the on-site tools online? And we need them right now because we're not doing any sales. But people want to move, people want to buy, people want to take the opportunity of low interest rates back then and so on. So that started changing that perception. Of course, taking all the content that we had online, on-site, required a lot of strategic thinking. So the type of content, and when you think about the content flow, even though each project is unique, each project brings its own character, its own branding, but the storytelling when you sell a real estate project is typically the same. You start from understanding the location. If the project is part of a master plan, then understanding the master plan, and then the building, the architecture, amenities, features and finishes, the views that are connected to the floor plans, knowing if those floor plans are available or not, and then getting down to the pricing. So it's really these last 3 parts, the ones that were kind of tricky to bring online. I mean, for the rest, you could think that an interactive website can do it, but how do you bring online the unit availability, pricing? So this is typically information that is confidential and that the sales teams want to hold until they have the client in front of them. At the same time, the needs and what we were told to have is an application that is fast, not only fast to onboard the projects, because these projects were already on sales, but also fast to download. They didn't want to have any kind of Like if you have a page load speed that lasts for 5 seconds, boom, that's it. People lose their interest. So it needed to be fast. It needs to be cost effective. It needs to be very responsive, meaning it needs to work on smartphones and tablets and desktops. No, I don't want to download any type of application. As soon as you put the application to be downloaded, you lose like 50, 70% of the target audience. And no, you cannot have a special hardware. So this application cannot run on any kind of like great computer graphics. No, it needs to be on phones. Like realtors, brokers, they work with phones. 70% of the traffic is using smartphones. And hey, but it needs to be very realistic. So we're like, oh, okay. Okay, you're asking us the impossible. But through all our conversations, we realized that these needs also had different levels of priority. And it really depends on who the buyer is. So if the project is intended for an end buyer, meaning that I buy the property and I'm going to be living there, I'm very concerned about the features and finishes, and I really want, if I don't have an architectural background to really visualize what is going to happen, I really want to see exactly what I'm getting, what I'm going to be buying. Now, on the other hand, if I'm buying it as an investor, the reality is that the numbers need to make sense because it's an investment. So it's like 90% crunching the numbers and then 10% really falling in love with that project, that property. Really, I love the location. I buy there. It's a great investment because of the developer, because of the amenities. But you don't really need to have an application that is super hyper realistic in order for you to make a decision. So it really changes, and it also changes if the market is hot and properties are selling out. I mean, 5 years ago, properties would be selling within a week in Toronto. Now it's a completely different story. So it's a different market. So what we got from all this is that whatever solution we create, it needs to be very flexible so that it combines a great solution for everyone. So we thought this is a great opportunity to bring all the different applications that we had in place that were in different silos, even in developing with different type of software into one centralized application, running one central software, or at least connected to one central database. So that as soon as that database changes, and when I say database, think of floor plan availability, pricing, unit allocations, etc., it should change in all the different points of sales. And that's the origin of Zentro. That's how Zentro was born. So in a nutshell, Zentro is a centralized digital presentation center that streamlines the sales process and centralizes all information and 3D visualization. But in other words, this is like your sales alley. This is open 24/7. This allows you, if you're part of the sales team or if you're a broker, to sell real estate whenever, wherever. And when we talk about centralized information, it's not only a centralized database and a flexible digital twin that feeds and gets data from all the points of contact, but what is really important is that, again, this not only feeds, but also gets data. Like we get all the data from the points of sales, from what are the most favorite floor plans, how many sessions we had at the touchscreens, how many sessions we had at the VR stations, what were the, like, imagine just a heat map of all the different points of sales. So this is the type of information that we think that is very valuable for our clients, in addition to, yes, of course, the number of sales and the performance that the sales team has had. Now, even though we thought, well, everything that we're doing is in Unreal, but this needs to be fast, and this needs to be experienced from a phone. So how are we going to do that? And then, I mean, we have to go back in time. This is 2020. Pixel streaming was at its infancy, and cloud streaming was extremely cost prohibitive. So we decided that's not the way that we want to go. We tried with different steps. Like one of the first approaches was to create a script so that we can get all these different 3D renderings from our main master models, and then split like different scenes around the buildings and have like different scales of magnitude so that you can feel that you're navigating across the full master plan, then around each one of the buildings. It makes sense. The problem is that as soon as there is any change, and there are always changes in real estate and architecture, you need to re-render that again and go through the entire process, and then it needs to be onboarded into a platform, and that is not real time. So that's the main reason why we decided not to pursue this route. And we started looking at WebGL model viewers, and we found Sketchfab. And we played around with some more viewers, but once once we started seeing what Sketchfab had to offer, was really great because the API is very simple and easy to use. It allows for an enhanced interactivity. We love the post processes. I mean, again, we're not thinking that this is going to be a very realistic model, but at least it has some post processes that allow it for it to have some sort of depth. And of course, it's part of the Unreal family. So we thought, well, it's not Unreal Engine, but this is really, this does what we're looking for. So this completes our dilemma of how can we respond to giving that solution that is fast and easy to deploy, easy to onboard, that loads very fast. It's really a web stack that it's integrated with Sketchfab, and this is what we're calling Zentro Lite. Zentro Real, of course, is our version that uses Unreal Engine. Both of them allow us to produce an application that is accessible from any type of mobile device. The only difference is that the Unreal Engine application uses cloud streaming. Now, on the presentation center, we can have on-site kiosks, immersive screens, VR, XR, again, thinking about the future. All of those will need to have local hardware supported by Unreal. But Sketchfab has also, like the application that we developed, has also an on-site kiosk component, thinking that can work completely offline. Now, on top of that, you can see that we have some developer portals. These are very important because this is the dashboard for the developer and the marketing team, the dashboard for the broker to see how everything is going. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So exactly how does this look like? Well, here we go, Zentro Real and Zentro Lite. On the right, we have the fast and diagrammatic version. It's not as realistic, but this can be onboarded even in 2 weeks if all the different assets are completed and ready. So it's very, very fast, the deployment. Zentro Real is a more realistic way to approach it, where you can really get a full sense of the location, a great sense of the architecture, the materiality. Of course, if you have different types of amenities, like you can really see in reality how they are going to be, look like. Now, let's do a deep dive into Zentro Lite. So on the right, we have all the different features. I'm going to talk about some of the most important ones. Of course, these can be branded. These have the ability to have additional sections for image, galleries, videos. But really, a core is connecting and working around our Sketchfab model. At the beginning, we thought, well, this is like having a scale model. It's not meant to be hyper realistic. But the reality is that the feedback that we've been receiving from our clients is like, oh, clients love it. They play around with that, and they know that it's not realistic, but they love to know exactly where the different areas are located, where the the lounge areas, the hammock areas, and the sauna is located in relation to the other one. So it is already doing things that we didn't think that it was going to be doing. Plus, the other thing is that with Sketchfab, you can really stylize these scale models. You can connect it to the branding. In this case, we connected it to an old school wooden scale model. And again, using the depth of field and the ambient occlusion from the post processes in Sketchfab is already doing a really nice job. And of course, we got all the different perks that are appearing little by little with Sketchfab, like augmented reality. So this happens in a breeze because it's already integrated. And guess what? It was already integrated with Zentro Light, so now it's there for all our users to have. In terms of the navigation, we really designed this from scratch, really paying a lot of attention to the smartphones. And this is the reason why we have the phones and the desktop. It was very important for us that the experience was great from the smartphones. And there are many different ways to find your ideal floor plan, from the mob to lists to floor plates to the actual floor plans. So that was incorporated. Also going through all the different search criteria happens in real time, and this is updated in real time from the central database. So as soon as there was, let's say that there's a sales on any particular unit, boom, that will appear or not appear in this case there. We have the ability to, well, favorite, compare, share, be able to see the actual view if we have all the different drone photography from each one of the units. And yes, favorite, compare, and share. But also brokers have the ability to add worksheets, which is great because this is the process that we typically follow in Canada to start the sales of a unit. So a broker will typically, if they have an investor or a buyer that is interested in one of the floor plans, and we're in a hot season of the market, and this is at the very, very beginning, then they will typically send all the agent details, the purchaser details, along with the top 3 units that will be part of their worksheets, and then the rest of the process will happen in the broker portal and the developer portal. In order to highlight the location, we also have 2D maps with points of interest, but in this particular case, we thought, well, it's very important to highlight the connection to downtown core, so we decided to do the entire map of Toronto in Sketchfab with a very volumetric, with a mass model. It was a great challenge for our 3D modelers, but we managed to make it under 15 megabytes, I believe. So it was very streamlined, and it's been very helpful just in order to really understand the importance of the location. Now, low-rise, it's a different beast, and it's a different framework, because low-rise is sold in a different manner. There are people that start from the home design, and from that home design, they select the lot, but there are other people that prefer to select the lot first, if, let's say, if you want to be next to a ravine, next to a park, and from there you can see exactly what are the type of home designs that are available. So all this was taken into consideration for this framework. In terms of really immersing yourself and going inside, like, of course, you have the ability to see images, you have the ability to see videos, but what about 360 web tours? Yes, we've done 360 web tours, and we have scripts in our Unreal models that allow us to create all these different cube maps and then export it to a 360 web tour platform like La Llama or Piganto, and then these can be embedded into Zentro Light as well. So this is a different way to explore. Now enter Zentro Real. What is very interesting about Zentro Real is that right now it's possible because we've integrated Zentro with Cesium, and now we have a cloud streaming process in place. So this means that I can get access to this on my phone or on my iPad, which is great. In this particular project, even though we always try to animate the exteriors, the neighborhood of the project with cars and people and so on, we thought, okay, we know that if we decide to have this in Unreal, it's going to take more development time, more effort to do the level of realism. What if we simply take the Cesium tiles and we place our building right there? We had different tests. It looked horrible, but we started enhancing little by little a couple of the neighborhood of the neighbors, and adding some trees here and there, and adding better lighting and so on, and that was a game changer. So we did a little bit of work, but not so much. We'll see that in just a second. Now, this project right here is another master plan. I'm a true believer that for master plan communities, this tool is really, really essential because it allows you to understand not only the main composition of the master plan and all the programmatic layout, but also how that immerse feeling of how that streetscape is going to be like, how the park is going to be like how the lighting is going to affect all the different sides of the building. We were always very big on lifestyle, as you could have seen from the videos. And for this type of experiences, since it is the realistic one, we really wanted to make sure that we bring all the different tools. So that's why in Zentro Real, we added that in order to add that level of realism, we streamlined the development and streamlining the development of the project. We incorporated the traffic system that comes with the UE5. And this is great because it automatically detects the traffic lights, crossroads, pedestrians, and other cars to avoid collisions. Also spawns and despawns vehicles according to the distance from the player. And each vehicle can turn on and off and turn in the signals in an automatic way. So right now we're trying to add that kind of AI system to our people as well. In terms of people, we have 3 different levels of people. We have people that are more in low detail, more for crowds, people that are great for close-ups, but every single project has its own unique requirements. So we're always creating custom animations. Like for example, for this particular project, we had a BMX road, like we had the basketball road. So we're always constantly creating custom animations using either Rococo or right now we're using Move AI. Views are also super important, especially for master plan communities where, I mean, if you go and take a drone over there and the type of photo that you'll see is the derelict land of nothing, but that doesn't relate at all to the actual view that you're going to have 10 years from now, 15 years from now. So this tool really showcasing all the different buildings and cesium allows you to have interactive lighting, but really have a true sense of what that view is going to be like in the future. Another integration that we did was we wanted to really have a full integration between Zentro Light and Zentro Real. So, and this was part of the launch of this project. This project was launched in, I believe, 2021. So we didn't want to have any kind of touch screens. We wanted to control everything from an iPad. This allows you to have a screen as large as possible, controlled by a completely different application. And this is also great because you can have all type of content. So if the application is the application from Zentro Light for the broker portal, then you'll have more confidential information, but you can curate the experience with your clients and be able to control the experience from Zentro Real. Okay, so as you can see, this is Zentro Light with our Sketchfab mall that is connected to Zentro Real. Now, in the event that you just want to have your sales agents controlling the screen, like we also have the applications that appeared kind of recently that mirror exactly everything that is happening on that screen. That has also been very useful. The other one is useful if you want to have a completely set of like different type of information that is not displayed. Now, as I mentioned, so we used Strata and we didn't do a lot of work around the area just because we wanted to calculate also how much time it was going to take us to create all these, the process. And at the end of the day, we spent even less than the 10 weeks that we had accounted for, and actually it was even less than 8 weeks. And this was all streamlined through all the different tools, but of course, cesium was a big component to that. So we have a module that allows us to navigate through different points of interest. This is a great tool if you really want to understand the intricacies of the architecture, the lighting conditions, how the light affects each one of the units. Also, it's great if you want to navigate to all the different amenity sections, like in this case, the rooftop the rooftop that we had on the terrace. And this was really the heart of the project. This was like that private terrace. Some people, when the renderings were created, they thought that they were very, very conceptual. So it isn't until you have a full control of the model that you can go from, okay, bird's eye view, understand the location, understand that this is the only tower around the area, okay, unobstructed views, that's great. And really be able to navigate that you have a really full understanding of the project. In terms of our search compare view section, this is, again, developed and designed having the user in mind. So some people like to search for the floor plan through floor plans. And this is something that we learned from experience. We always thought that it was cooler to do the search criteria and then use the 3D model. But there's still a lot of brokers and realtors that prefer to go from the floor plan section first. So then we have the search criteria. Everything updates in a very automatic way. And from there, you can go and see the detail of the floor plan, or you can go directly to a view or go directly to the 3D model if the 3D model is available. Again, you can compare, share. Everything happens in a very responsive way. If the 3D model is available, then you'll be prompted to this scene. We try to make it very straightforward in terms of the navigation, so you simply tap and it goes directly to where that location is. It's perfect for iPads. It's very, very user-friendly. And then in this particular section, we have 2 different modules. We have a module for the core. So if you hit like that little brush, then you'll be prompted to the core section. The core aspects of this component is really taking into consideration the process of the decor at the time of the sales. So in most cases, the decor selection happens afterwards, but there are some projects that have like just generic general packages in terms of upgrades. So that's what we wanted to have. We didn't want to have a tool that would calculate exactly the cost of each one of the upgrades, but just for you to see the 2-3 levels of upgrades and the different levels of changes and materials that you can have from all these different categories. And then once you are set, you can save it, and that goes directly to the developer portal so that the developer knows exactly what is the package that has been chosen. These parts are always controlled by the developer or the broker. This is the photo module, and it's been great for marketing teams where they want to have extra shots, extra marketing material for their marketing campaigns, or even for brokers if they want to have a more curated presentation with their clients talking about some specific details. But the best, again, is that it's mobile, is that it all happens with the streaming process on the cloud, and you have the ability to access these type of presentations that in the past were only at sales centers, like right there with your laptop or with your tablet. And this allows for a more organic type of conversation. Brokers will meet with their clients. They will have the ability to show the different projects, maybe not 1, 2, 3, 4. So this saves time, and time is money. And this allows for the broker to have a deeper conversation and really understand the client's needs and be able to have a more informed decision. At the same time, more and more we have projects that require international investment, that are looking for international buyers, or that simply the buyer cannot be there to go to either the presentation center or to meet with the salesperson. So this type of presentation tools allows them to have a video conference where the broker is guiding and taking the end buyer on a tour through the entire project. But again, the core is that all the data is centralized. And that means that the developer portal not only manages all the information related to the sales, the pricing information of all the different units, but they get a full 360 overview of what is happening on all the different points of sales, from touch screens to to all the broker portals, to all the public and private portals. In the same way, broker portals, and the broker portal gives the broker all the information that they require in terms of their units, their allocations, their worksheets. But in addition, they have the ability to show the centralized or Zentro Real, we're highlighting the units that they have been allocated in a special color, or they will have the ability to hide the other units just to push a little bit more the ones that they have been allocated to. So what does this mean to presentation centers? Are they going to die? No. You always want to have the opportunity to talk directly to the end user, to the buyer. But this means that if this type of information is already available outside, then there are opportunities to create a more immersive environment. So right now, the type of conversations and projects that we're working on, we're aiming to have a more immersive approach to the sales centers, where through a use of projection mapping, we can really change and highlight the different styles of or the different specifics on the amenity spaces or the units, or have this type of curved immersive walls that really take you on a cinematic tour throughout the entire property at 180 to 120 degree, always covering your full field of view, or have like some special events with a special launch. So for example, in this particular case, one of the projects that we were working on, the idea was to launch it from the rooftop terrace, but what we used was an actual volume wall. So these are just previous work that we were doing in order to understand and to make sure that we could really depict the entire area and how the rooftop terrace was going to be seen. We tried that scene at dusk, also at daylight. We knew that it was going to be super bright at daylight, and that is exactly what happened. Like when we were there with our crew, it was like super bright, but it made the trick. It was like exactly what we were anticipating in terms of extending that field of view and really feeling immersed that you are there. So looking to the future, of course, we know that spatial computing is going to be a big component. VR is going to be a big component. We've worked with all the projects that we do in VR are all done with baked lighting, with GPU light mask. That's the only way that you are able to achieve a great level of realism with no artifacts running at 90 frames per second. We had the opportunity to work in the most ambitious and greatest project of VR, that was the one that we presented last year at Unreal Fest for Four Seasons Private Residences in Lake Austin. This was all guided by the vision of our client Jonathan Kuhn, and of course directed by Divox. And we were able to work hand in hand with Alex Colombe and the entire Agile Lens in order to bring this experience to life. This video doesn't really play justice to what the experience is, because the experience is phenomenal. It's a multiplayer VR holodeck that really allows you to transport from different spaces. But again, if you're curious about that project, look it up online. We presented that a year ago. Right now, we've been doing just tests with Lumen. I mean, 5.4, it doesn't hit the performance, and we don't have ray trace. So we don't use it for production, but we're always keeping an eye there on what we can do. It's great that we have dynamic lighting, and it's great that we have global illumination, but still, it's not something that we'll recommend for full production on our typical level of detail and what we try to achieve in VR. And mixed reality, this is also part of R&D. We always like to see what is the performance status on all these different tools. This test was done probably 5 months ago. We need to run a couple of new ones. You can see that we were having still some issues with the pass-through, but it was actually cool. It was really great to be there and see that the scale model was there. And we did a couple of tests with cesium, and it's is very promising. So we know that this is going to be part of the future. So what is the future of real estate sales? The way we see it is ubiquitous. It's 24/7, it's open, it allows you to sell real estate whenever, whatever. It's immersive, and there are great immersive opportunities for sales centers. Since we have all these different tools available and all these different displays, then it really makes you think, like, why do we still have one presentation center per project? Maybe we can have multiple presentation centers for different projects that work at different times of day, or there's a great opportunity to have pop-up venues with multiple projects that go on tours, but have like really great immersive experiences. And the future is centralized. Okay, thank you very much. Right.